It's time for your home with Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction on AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Elise.
Good morning, everybody. Getting a little fall-like out there this morning, a little cool. And welcome to your home. We're glad you're here today. My name is Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction, and I'm glad you've joined us this morning. I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes here on Your Home, and Your Home is actually a bi-weekly talk show, or close to bi-weekly, depending on scheduling and so on, focusing on all aspects of home ownership. Each show, we feature a guest or guests who specialize in some aspect of home maintenance, repair, remodeling, and all aspects of your home, both inside and out. Last show, we had a great show with the Broughtons from Decorator's Choice. We talked about home decor. That was a fun show. Our guests will be taking your calls here this morning. If you feel like you'd like to call in, give us a call here on WLEA at 324-1480. That's 324-1480. And as a reminder, I'm going to be giving out the Bullfrog Tip of the Week here in a moment. Please feel free to give us a call with any question or concern regarding your home, inside or out, and we will do the best we can to answer your question. But now let's meet our guest professional for the week. This morning I'm joined by a lifelong resident, Mike Snowden. Mike has owned and operated a general contracting company for over 35 years right here in Hornell. Mike is a lifelong resident and is well known throughout our community, in and around the community here. Mike specializes in interior, exterior painting and wallpaper. And this morning on Your Home, we're going to be discussing just that, paint and wallpaper. You can reach Mike for an estimate. And Mike, are the estimates free?
Yes.
Free estimate at 607-661-8513. Write that down, guys. 607-661-8513. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you for coming. I'm excited to talk to a professional painter. I don't really like to paint personally. I build stuff, but I love guys like you that can make everything look nice. In the end, when we get done, you make it look all pretty for us. Before we get started this morning here, folks, so we're going to give out the Bullfrog Tip of the Week. And this week, the Bullfrog Tip of the Week is let's get LEDs. Let's get LEDs. So a short-term scenario, I did a little bit of back-of-the-envelope calculations, Mike, before I came this morning. And if you used a bulb for just 2 hours a day and paid the national average of around 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour, a single 12-watt LED, and the reason I say 12-watt because it's like the equivalent of a 60-watt because it only uses 12, would cost about $1 a year for that bulb. Comparable to a CFL, which is the twisty kind of bulbs, which consume about 14 watts, is going to be about $1.17 a year. And a 60-watt incandescent bulb is going to be between $5 and $7 a year. So that's a huge difference. In 2 hours, $5 versus $1. You can imagine how much that bulb's on in your house, folks. It makes good economical sense to change out the old incandescents with the LED lighting that's come way down in price these days. Get those old bulbs out. The days are getting shorter, unfortunately, and get the LEDs in. So the tip today is let's get LEDs. When you hear the Bullfrog ribbit, give us a call in. Be the first correct caller with Let's Get LEDs, and you're going to win a great prize package from Bullfrog Construction. We've got Brandy's Cup of Joe. We've got some Bullfrog T-shirt. We've got some armor goodies. And now, let's get to our guest, Mike Snowden, this morning. Let's talk about paint. Not one of my favorite subjects. I love how it looks, but I hate to really touch too much of it. Fresh new paint, Mike. It adds such a great feel to anybody's home to freshen up. You know, with the holidays coming and just any time, it's nice to paint. Let's talk about interior painting for a moment. What is the process over an existing wall, a painted wall that's been painted versus a newly drywalled wall?
Okay, when I first go in a room to paint, the first thing I do, I move all the furniture 3 feet from the walls.
Yep.
So I have easy accessibility.
Yep.
Put the drop cloth down. I'll take fine sandpaper and run over the walls to remove any dust nubs and things that shouldn't be there. Mark with a pencil any imperfections, and then fill those with fast and final spackling, then spot prime.
Spot prime, very important.
Spot prime. And then if the walls are painted in a good condition, there's no need to prime, just spot prime.
So we don't need to prime.
Not
if
the
the
entire
walls are in good condition
only on
and they're
drywall.
painted, only on drywall, okay.
And then I put the first coat on.
Yep.
I always put 2 coats on because of durability. A lot of cans will say guaranteed 1 coat. Read the small print. For best results, 2 coats are necessary.
Okay.
And you can put 2 coats on almost as quick as you try to put 1 coat on without any imperfection. So I put the first coat on. After that dries, I once again run sandpaper over the wall and apply the second coat.
So this is how a professional works, folks. They know exactly how to come in, assess the scenario, look at what needs to be done, get everything right, so that we have a nice, smooth, warrantyable. Is it warrantyable over existing paint, Mike? That's a question that I always have. If I got some walls in my house that have been painted, and you fix them up, and you come in and paint it, can I get a warranty on my paint?
I guarantee my workmanship for 1 year.
You do? How about the paint?
Even if something goes wrong in a year and a half, I'll show up and fix it.
That's good to know, and that's important today because a lot of people are here and then you can't find them. So is the paint warrantyable though?
Well,
I like the look on your face right now.
Well, in New York State, nothing can be warranted over 7 years.
Okay.
So they have lifetime warranty on certain products, 30 years, 50 years, but legally 7 years in New York State. And most paint companies, it's hard to get a refund. Recently I had a job I did, and it was satin finish, and the paint just wasn't drying right. And I called the company. They refunded the $300 for the materials, and then the customer thought he would do it. Even though I've worked for this person for a long time, he thought he could do it,
Of course.
And so he did it, and guess what?
Same thing.
Same thing happened. So I think there was something in the drywall. It was new drywall.
Yeah.
I think it was something in the drywall that was causing the problem.
I think I'm familiar with the job you're talking about, but because I looked at that job, I happened to walk into it, and you were there painting. Everybody was scratching their heads. But see, folks, so a professional like Mike, because everybody can paint, right, Mike? At least they think they can. I'm going to go to Lowe's, or I'm going to go to Walmart, or I'm going to go somewhere up to the...
The only difference between anybody and a professional or a homeowner, the professional will have a wet rag with him. He won't leave paint on the woodwork. You can always tell when a homeowner or non-professional is painted, they'll leave paint on all the wood trim and not wipe it off. Be there for years. A lot of times I have to go and remove it. If I go on a job and it's there, I'll show it to people and say, this paint is already here, even though it's not even the color I'm using.
Yeah, it's not me.
Sometimes I get blamed for it. I was painting an attic window once, and all of a sudden this lady appears in the attic window telling me I got pink paint on the window. And I'm outside painting white. But, no, I've never seen this pink paint on my window before. It was on the inside. Yes, I walked in the house, went up in the attic,
and put paint.
I mean, so you get blamed for everything. So I always point out to people if the woodwork has paint already on it, that I would try my best to get it off, but just note that it's not me because I don't leave paint on woodwork.
The other thing too, folks, you have to realize, if you're not used to and familiar with being on a ladder, whether it's a step ladder inside the house, or it's a tall ladder, an extension ladder outside the house. Ladders are dangerous. If you don't use them with respect and know how to use them, you can get hurt on a ladder. Now, Mike spent his whole life, 30-some years professionally, on a ladder. And I'm assuming, Mike, you carry insurance in case something gets damaged.
You have to be licensed in Hornell, and I have $1 million insurance policy.
Okay, that's good. And that's good to know, folks. So these are the reasons why we look at professionals like Mike, who've seen just about every scenario, I'm assuming, or pretty much every scenario over 30-some years. You've seen a lot of stuff. So let's continue our conversation. What about the trim? I always wonder, should you paint it before it's installed or after if it's installed if you're putting on new trim? Or let's back up first. Let's back up for 1 second. We've got existing trim on a wall in the house. Do we paint the trim first and then the walls, or do we paint the walls first and then the trim?
All depends what's going to work out easier for me.
Okay.
If I'm painting a wall red, I'm going to do the trim last.
Okay.
Because if I do the trim first in white, I'm going to be trimming out red 4 times against that trim.
Yep, I got you.
See, so if I paint the trim after, I'm only trimming once out against the red.
Because of that dark color.
That's right, that dark color.
So again, here's where the professional is going to save time and going to know how to do things in the right order and so on and so forth. They're going to know how to make everything a smooth transition through the job and quickly. That's the other thing. Someone that paints for a living, I know several painting contractors, and when they paint versus me painting, and of course I can paint, I have the equipment and all that stuff, I just normally refer my painting out, and because it's just, I watch a professional paint, it's just so much. When you watch a professional at anything, folks, doing something, I don't care if it's trimming bushes or whatever it is, any professional trade, it's like magic to watch somebody who has it. Now, Mike was telling me a story here a while ago about how he got started in painting, and I'd like you, Mike, to share that. You were in Hornell your whole life, and then you left, and tell me that story again. That's a great story, and it's worth hearing.
After I arrived back in Hornell in early 1980, I was looking for work. I got a job doing something for a brief time, something else, and a lady, Mildred Kimmel. Most people knew Mildred. And she called me and said, "Mike, I know you're looking for some work. Can you paint?" I said, "I've never done it, but I'll do it." I went up to her house. She had 4 rooms, and I painted them like I'd always been painting. It was just came naturally. And those walls look as good back then as when I paint today. Perfect.
Yep.
If you're going to do something right, do it right.
I agree with you.
And after that, she told more people, and in 35 years now, I've been self-employed. I've only woke up 30 times probably in those years and no place to be.
Yep.
I stay busy year-round, right up till Christmas Eve some years if I have to. I'd like to take a week off, but sometimes people like things done the last minute. And so I've always been busy, and that's good. But getting back to the magic thing you said, you saw it looks like magic when the painter's painting.
Oh, yeah.
One day a lady said to me, "Oh, you can paint around windows so quick without getting it on the glass." I said, "I can do it with my eyes closed." Yeah. And she said, "Close your eyes." She said, "Close your eyes."
She said that to you?
She said, "Close." So I put the brush up on the left side, trim, closed my eyes, went right down the window, and she couldn't believe it. She didn't get any on the glass.
Yeah.
You do something so long, you can do it in your sleep, see?
That's the difference, folks, between having a professional do something. There are things that people can do themselves. Let's not take it away, but there's a difference between a professional and somebody, a homeowner doing things, or, a do-it-yourselfer, and certainly there's nothing wrong with that. So that was the beginning, Mike, of your painting when Mildred Kimmel said, "Hey, come on over and paint my rooms." And that's a great, great story, and it's been all good for you since then. So that's real blessing for you. So let's continue our conversation. So I have a room done, and I'm going to put up new trim. Mm-hmm. Should I put the trim on the sawhorses and paint it first and put it on, or should I put it on and then paint it, or how do we do that? What makes the most sense?
Well, if I'm installing the trim, I'll put the primer on the trim first. And sometimes the first coat of paint.
Off the walls.
Off the walls.
Okay.
Then I'll go on, nail it up, sink the nails, and then fill those with a filler.
Yep.
And then after that, I'll spot prime those spots, and then put the last coat of paint on it.
So basically, then you do start with the trim off the wall.
If it's brand new.
If
correct.
it's brand new. So folks, you want to make a note of that if you're doing a room, and I would suggest you call a professional like Mike, but if you're going to do it yourself, get that trim painted just like Mike had just said. There's several steps right there, which is great advice, Mike, and I really appreciate you, showing it takes a lot of years to learn what you knew how to do and do it the right way. Here's another thing, doors. Do I take the doors off to paint them, or do I paint the doors on the hinges? What's the best way to do it in your professional?
Whatever's going to work easier for me. A 6-panel door you can usually paint right on. If it's a smooth door, sometimes like the ones up at Value Home recently, I did them all on.
Okay.
Steel doors with a low nap roller.
Yep.
But some doors, it's best just to take them off. It's all what you think of. If it comes off easy, if the pins pop out easy, or the hinges come off, take them down. If you have a place to do that. But most paints today, if you're putting it on right, will not run.
Okay.
And I always put multiple coats on doors, again, for the durability. My front doors on my house took 4 coats. They were red paint.
Okay.
Red paint. I finally got them done after how many years? And, and I left those right on and used a low nap roller.
So, Mike, this is a real short show, and I'd love to have you come back. We're probably not going to get much past the interior side of things, and there's so much to talk about outside and wallpaper and so on. You can only cram so much information into 30 minutes with a break or two involved in there. And folks, it's that time right now. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Your Home on WLEA 1480 with Mike Snowden and Elise from Bullfrog Construction. We'll be right back.
At Bullfrog Construction, attention to detail makes the difference. That's why they're quickly becoming the Southern Tier's premier contractor.
We liked them right away. From our initial meeting, they made us feel comfortable and confident. Bullfrog was the right choice. They listened to what we wanted. They have wonderful ideas, and everything you want to happen, they make happen.
Creativity and communication, distinction and detail, excellence and experience. Qualities you'll receive with Bullfrog Construction. Whether building the future or restoring the past, Bullfrog provides you with the value you deserve and professionalism that you expect. Let Bullfrog Construction create your next home and lifestyle renovation. Call today 585-737-4553 or make an appointment to visit the beautiful showroom. That's 585-737-4553. Bullfrog Construction, where they say, let us fix your pad.
AM 1480 WLEA.
Hey, folks, I hear that ribbit sound. That's the Bullfrog Tip of the Week. Give us a call. Win a great prize package. You can reach us at 324-1480, 324-1480. Hey, I'm joined this morning by Mike Snowden, professional painter here, lifelong resident of Hornell. We're having a great conversation here about interior painting right now, and we're going to get right back to it here. Mike, what about ceiling stains? That's always a problem where people have had a leak upstairs maybe, or, something is, gotten on their ceilings for some reason. There seems to be stains on ceiling. Maybe the roof leaked at some point. What do we do about that? Okay,
I've had a stain in one of the bedrooms of my house for probably 3 years, maybe.
Get it fixed, Wlea.
And we have a foreign exchange student just came sleeping in that room. My wife said, "Can you do something about that stain?" I said, "Sure." I got a can of Kills in the car, so I got the spray Kills out, sprayed it on the stain, and took care of it.
Good, and that worked.
It worked.
No trouble. And you paint right over it, there it is.
Paint right over it.
Perfect. So that's the solution to that then, is to use some sort of a stain blocker. Kills, that's a brand name, on the stain, and you sprayed it.
Yep, and I always have a drop cloth down because that overspraying the Kills will get on stuff if you're not careful.
Yep, and that's very important, folks. So let's talk about what do you do when you see water damage? I mean, I'm sure you've run into it over the years.
Water damage on the ceilings?
Anywhere, walls, anywhere where it's run down. You see these lines going down.
Well, usually you wash those off and put Kills on it. Put Kills on it. If it's damaged the drywall, you cut out with the multi-purpose tools now, the oscillating tools.
Okay.
You can cut out a perfectly square hole or whatever size type of hole you want, and then piece a new piece in. If it's spongy, sometimes while I'm on a job now where we had to remove 18 pieces of paneling because you no longer can buy paneling 1/4 inch thick to match what we had, so we had to replace it all with drywall, which we're doing right now. And we want to say hello to Barb and Tim.
Hey, Barb and Tim.
That's a house we're working at. And now we're all ready to sand the drywall and prime it in 2 coats of paint.
Nice,
and
beautiful.
Put up trim.
Hey, Mike, I know this has become really, really popular these days, and I wanted to talk about this just for a minute. kitchen cabinets. I'm sure you've painted a few kitchen cabinets, and probably more recently than in the past, because it's a popular thing today. People will have wood cabinets and they want to paint them white, or they want to paint them gray, or, let's talk about kitchen cabinets. What's up with that?
Okay, the story on that, Mrs. White, who used to live in town, long gone, she called me one day and she said, I've lived with these brown wood mold cupboards for 22 years. And her husband passed away, and she said, now it's my turn.
Nice.
So I did the frame one color and the doors another color.
Oh, okay.
And that was with a paint you used to be able to buy. You can't buy anymore. Vitrigard, excellent oil paint.
So you said, let's stop right there 1 second. Is oil paint the best paint to put on cupboards?
Well, you really can't buy it anymore, that type that you use. It's usually modified, so it's still water cleanup. There is a paint out there that you can buy for cabinets. Works great. I did some last year on Pardee Street, 22 cupboard doors.
Okay.
You have to take the doors off, take the hinges off, lay them out. Usually just lay a big plank and lay the doors right on it. And paint them one by one.
Now, do you spray those, or do you hand paint those?
No, just use a 4-inch foam roller.
Okay. And they're nice and smooth when they're done?
Nice
they
and
look
smooth.
Beautiful. Yep.
A good thing about the Vitrigard, it looked like it was oven baked.
Oh, really?
And,
wow.
Roseanne O'Connor on Jane Street, we did hers, and 20 years ago. They still look brand new, but she's getting tired of the color. They're blue and white, blue doors, white, and that paint would wear like steel.
Looks perfect, yeah.
But sad to say, people expect you to change stuff all the time, so the quality gets less on the materials.
And paint has changed a lot, as you
it's
know.
all in the last 6 months even.
They've taken, with the VOC thing, and they've taken so much of what made paint great out of the paint that it becomes it's become harder for painters, I think, to get a good finish like you used to be able to get. I'm sure there's still good products out there, and again, folks, I'm not a painter. I'm a builder, but you would know.
Back to that quality, I painted something a few weeks ago. When guy hauled up paint, he said, I've had this paint for 4 years. A paint that is no longer made with Valspar.
Yep.
Because it was too good. And I opened that can and put it on. I said, man, I forgot how good this stuff was.
Yep.
One coat would cover so perfect.
Isn't that something else? I'm
and
telling
now
you.
it seems like even the best of paints will take 2 coats. Because I always put 2 coats on anyway, but you can't fall over the thing, 1 coat will do it, because it doesn't today.
So, do you spray anything, Mike, at all? Do you spray at all?
Yeah, I own a half dozen sprayers. We're going to be spraying Napa here in Hornell.
Okay, yep. Outside, I'm assuming?
Outside, exterior. The trouble with spraying, you have to have a perfect day. You have to keep the volume down so you don't lose it in the wind. A lot of people, when they spray, even guys who work with me, I said, turn that volume down. I said, I'm paying for the paint, not you. Quit losing it in the wind.
Right.
And so I took the spray gun and turned it down, and I wasn't losing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do some spraying, but I don't prefer spraying, because...
You roll behind it after you spray, or no?
Some you can't, because it dries too quick. On
Okay.
a steel building or something, or cinder blocks, it was drying as quick as we put it on. Value Home, we went through 100 gallons of paint, 13,000 square feet, 2 coats. And,
wow, that's really great. What great tips. Folks, I'm with Mike Snowden here. You can reach Mike at 607-661-8513, 607-661-8513. So, Mike, let's talk for a minute about wet areas. I sometimes will go in people's homes, and I see black, looks like mold to me, growing on their corners of their ceilings in their bathrooms because they're not ventilated properly. What do we do about this? We got mold on the ceilings, mold on the walls. What do we do with that?
Well, number one, don't believe everything you read about mold.
Okay.
It isn't as deadly as people make it out to be.
Okay.
Usually what you do, take a little Windex bottle, put some bleach and water in it, and squirt on the mold before you touch it. Once you spray it and touch it after that, you're not making any dust. You're not going to be breathing any dust in.
Yep.
Same with asbestos. If you spray water on the asbestos before you remove it, you're not going to have an issue with it.
Okay.
But they don't tell you this. But I usually wash right off with a sponge and bleach, but you want to kill it first with the bleach.
Yep, folks, regarding the asbestos, we want to disclaim that, I would suggest if you have asbestos in your house, you call a professional. Mike obviously has dealt with it before, but you need to talk to somebody about asbestos today. It's treated very, very, it's very serious business, so you would want to talk to a professional about that. So you just spray some bleach water on the mold, clean it all up, wipe it off, and then just maybe kills it.
Yep,
kills it, and then paint it. Is it a problem behind the walls, do you think, Mike? Or is it just because the moisture is trapped?
It's usually on the surface.
It's surface, okay.
But so if the homeowner questions it, you just cut a little hole in the wall so you can investigate.
Big question our listeners are going to have, Mike. What's the average cost per square foot for an interior paint job? Now,
well, I was never a square foot person.
Okay.
I can walk into any room, I can look at any house, and tell you within 5 minutes how much it's going to cost. Because I've done it so long.
That's right. So what are you looking for when you walk in the house, though, Mike? Are you looking for 10-foot, 12-foot high ceilings? I mean, give us a little idea what you're looking for. How much furniture's in the house?
No, simply how long it's going to take me. It doesn't matter how tall it is, how much prep, too. Prep is the important part.
Okay.
Do you have holes in the walls? How much caulking's going to have to be done where the moldings aren't fitting tight to the wall? The priming and all that. The painting's the easy part. Getting it ready is a part takes the longest.
Mike, it's been super with you this morning. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Folks, Mike Snowden, professional painting contractor, 607-661-8513. This has been a great show, Mike. Folks, I'd like to thank Mike, and I'd like to thank you guys most importantly for listening in this morning to Your Home. It's been a great 30 minutes, fast and furious as always. We'll cover the exterior and the wallpaper next time around. Mike, will you come back and see us?
Yes, but I want to thank you for coming to this area and doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
You can go down the streets and say the bullfrog's been here. I mean, you see such improvements in the houses that Elise is buying and fixing over.
Well,
it's amazing, and you've raised the standards. I think other contractors are going to say, I have to start doing like Elise.
Good
like
job.
The bullfrog does it.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. Hope we've given you guys some great tips and advice today. Thanks to the staff here at Wlea. Brian, you're always here. I always see you. You're the best. Be sure to join us on Saturday, September 16th at 9:30, where we're going to be joined by area HVAC contractors. The heating season's coming, folks. We're going to talk about heat and AC with the heating season right around the corner. It should be a great show. We hope you'll join us. My name is Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction, your host here on Your Home. Have a super weekend, and remember, a house is made of bricks and beams. A home is made of hopes and dreams. Till next time, God bless. Have a great day.
AM 1480 WLEA Hornell.
The mostly sunny skies.